Hi everyone, I'm Gemma Blizzard and I'm from the UK, and I've been working with Salesforce since 2008. I started off with an IT degree, which was a combined degree with business, and I always said that I was going to go into implementation of software, but I didn't really know what role I would end up falling into. So I started doing some data work. I worked for my local fire department, pulling incident data before I took a move from the Midlands of England down to the south of England and worked for an airline briefly. I found myself working in sales, and they said, we are early adopters of this online platform called Salesforce, and we need you to help manage the pipeline and to update the data and make sure that all of the users are comfortable and happy using the system. And I just absolutely fell in love with it. I thought it was brilliant. I loved the fact that you didn't have to install it on anyone's computer, other than the old school Salesforce Connect for Outlook, which some of you might remember. But when I first looked at Salesforce, it was pre-classic, so it had the grey buttons and looked very different to how it looks now with Lightning interface. I decided after a year to go consulting, and I never looked back. I loved the fact that I could learn so much about somebody's industry in a very short space of time. And I started to work in various different settings. So I worked for myself, I worked for a consultancy, I also worked for a couple of large consultancies, and before I actually started working for a major ISV, and I ended up staying there for 3 years. In 2012 I became a mum. That was a lot to do with the decision, that actually influenced my career, because I was working for myself at the time and I was concerned about where the next paycheck was coming from, so I decided to go full-time permanent employed, and I'm glad I did. I got a lot of the QA that I needed when I was implementing Salesforce from working in that environment. My daughter's now 7 years old. She is amazing and funny and beautiful, and I know some of you will have met her when she came over to Trailhead DX in San Francisco earlier this year. She was incredibly tired when she got back, but she's now obsessed with Target. So I've been given my list of things to collect for her next week from Target. Shortly after I had my daughter, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it was stage 3 and it wasn't looking too good. So I had to have chemotherapy. I lost all my hair. I had to have radiotherapy. I had some surgery. The great news is that the chemotherapy blasted it into smithereens, so there wasn't much left, just a few microscopic cells. Unfortunately, some of those cells, we didn't get all of them. So I had a recurrence last year and was told I had to have a double mastectomy. I saw that as a bit of an opportunity to get an upgrade, which was a bit of a silver lining to the cloud, and I'm very pleased to say that I'm now, as far as we know, very much clear after a very difficult time. In 2017, I went on a bit of a certs binge. I sat on the bench for a little while at work and had some downtime, so I decided to use it productively. And it was a lot easier to do because I had quite a lot of time working in Salesforce, so I was able to do like the sharing and visibility, data architecture, because I understood it and lived and breathed it every day. I decided while I was doing the certifications to actually try and create a community and a home for active study. And Ladies Be Architects was born in 2017, and I didn't expect it to take off quite the way it did, but it was wonderful. And I'm so proud to say that with my co-leaders and ambassadors, we have Susanna and Charlie, co-leaders in the US, and we have Emily Hay and Vicky Jeffrey, who are our ambassadors in Australia, and we're looking to expand in the next year. We're now a non-profit organisation. We have some incredible sponsors. And we're really looking forward to getting everybody together next Monday for our party, and doing some of our workshops and sessions. So some good workshops to check out is our solution design session. Check out our YouTube page. We've got a couple of trailers for where we've run this before. in London, but also big hats off and thank you to Charlie and Susanna for taking it on the road in the States this year. We also have an identity parade workshop, and for those of you who struggle with OAuth, or OAuthful as I've nicknamed it, I was inspired by a Tony Robbins keynote in 2016 at Dreamforce, where he said that people learn and retain information better when they're up and moving about. So we plan to get you all up and moving about and acting out the OAuth flows that you need to learn for the CTA review board. So if you fancy giving that a go or supporting us with volunteering, please do reach out to myself, Susanna, Charlie, Vicky. We'll all be there and we're all looking forward to seeing you. This year has been an interesting one because last year was the first time I ever spoke at Dreamforce and it was incredible. This year I have sprung out of some fairly tough times to become an entrepreneur, and I'm very proud to be starting my own business, which is centered around Salesforce Assurance. It's a home for architects. We don't want to be worrying about utilization and billable hours all the time. We actually just want to be in a position to help and make a difference. But the other difference is that we want to help the whole ecosystem. So whether you're an SI, whether you're an app exchange partner, whether you just need some help and direction with Salesforce, that's the sort of thing that I'm very passionate about doing, and I'm very proud to have started a great journey with that already. So I'm going to stop talking now. We're nearly at 7 minutes. Thank you so much for listening. This is my Trailblazer story, and I'm looking forward to seeing so many of you next week. I fly out Saturday, so I'll see you next week, and have a fantastic time and safe travels.